Hello there guys, Francis Gray here and welcome back to a brand new build. And in today's build we're going to be making up a 3D print of the goddess Hera from the iconic movie Jason the Argonauts. I'll see you after this. Okay guys, so I got these 4 pieces back through the mail, and this is sent to me by a client for a private commission. And this is it's a 3D print of the goddess Hera from the cult classic movie Jason the Argonauts. If you follow this channel, you'll know that I'm a fan of Jason the Argonauts and Clash of the Titans, etc. Basically anything that Ray Harryhausen worked on. And normally the figurehead would go on the front of the ship, but the guy says in the film, I don't know why, but something made me put the figurehead on the back of the ship. And the reason why is so Jason could go up to the figurehead, talk to her, and then she could help him a number of times on his journey. So yeah, so this is that figurehead. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and get a lot of screen grabs to make sure that I get all the colours right and make this look a bit more closer to the movie counterpart. So obviously there's the main figurehead itself, and then we've got the wings here. So you can see there's quite a lot of the little dimples here that need to be sanded off. This is where it's been like resin printed, and it's stuck to the supports. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for, the supports. So yeah, so that fits nice, and so does that one. So yeah, so I think those will glue lovely once they're all cleaned up. As for layer lines, it's not that bad actually. It's pretty good. These parts. So you can see the odd little bit, but once it's been like grey or white primed, you won't see them at all. The main chore is cleaning all of these up. And then this sits on this beast here. So it's obviously once it won't connect at the moment because there's a bit of a defect there that I'll need cleaning up, and obviously underneath as well you've got a lot of supports there that need cleaning up. But once that's connected, it's a bit big for the for my camera angle, but you get the idea. So yeah, I can see this being a very unique build. So yeah, without further ado, let's crack on and give this a good clean. Okay guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is take off these under supports.
"2,000 years later."
Oh, well, yeah, that took way too long to do, but I suppose at least it looks a lot better on the bottom. But yeah, there's a few little imperfections like here and a few little in the corner, so I might go over with some wood filler. I'm not too sure. I'll see where this takes us. But for the next part, now we have loads of like little imperfections from the 3D printer that needs to be smoothed out. Loads on the back here, and then we have this really gnarly bit here which will make the main piece not connect. So this whole bit corner needs to be chopped off. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and clean all this up, and then we can get to sanding.
8 hours later.
Okay guys, so I went ahead and give it a once over, and it's got rid of quite a few embellishments but not all. So for the next stage I'm going to go in with some wood filler, and I'm going to get it on my fingers and then just basically rub it over, and then that'll get into any imperfections or nooks and crannies, and then when we go ahead and sand this in a bit it should be a lot smoother. Okay guys, I'll go ahead and leave that a couple of hours to fully dry.
A little later.
Okay, so for the next part, now as you can see here, we have a lot of support residue left over from where this was resin printed. Now though, that's going to be a problem. So we're going to need to go ahead with a trusty Dremel and then try and smooth all this out.
Get the idea.
So now that all parts are nicely sanded and smooth, for the next stage we're going to go into the garden and we're going to go into the spray booth with all the parts, and we're going to give it a couple of coats of a nice white prime.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay guys, so for the next stage now, it's not really showing up on the camera much, but there is a bit of a seam line gap which is very visible to the eye, and I've tried to grind this down and the inside of this as much as possible, but it just doesn't want to sit completely flush, and I don't want to force it and break it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some good old trusted milliput, and I'm going to squish a layer on the inside and then squish it into place, and then that should push the clay around the edge, and then we can do a bit of cleanup work and then leave that to harden, and we can then go back to white priming again. Okay guys, I'll go ahead and leave this a good 24 hours to fully cure.
24 hours later.
Okay guys, so it was a bit of a chore to take back apart. As you can see there, some of it stuck to the top of the goddess, but it does go back together rather well. So originally I was going to paint this separate and then this separate and then add it later, but the way it's come apart, I'm thinking I'm going to have to glue it in place now, make sure it's nice and smooth, and then white prime it again. So in order to do that, I'm just going to go in with our trusted little friend super glue. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave that to fully dry, and then we can see about smoothing this down a little bit.
Alright.
So the first thing I'm going to do is go in with a dark flesh from Model Colour. Okay guys, so I'm not a huge fan of this area here. As you can see there, it's quite distracting when you look at it. So instead of trying to make it flush and smooth with this, I thought I would extend the bottom of the shirt, I suppose, or the dress. So yeah, so same again, Millie put to the rescue. Okay, let's go ahead and leave that a couple of hours to fully dry.
Right.
And and now I'm going to go in with a basic skin tone from Model Colour. And now I'm going to go in with a yellow ochre from Model Air. Okay, so I found that this stuff actually works really well as a base tone coat if you're going to be painting blonde hair. It's just like a mucky kind of mid-yellow, so it's worth adding it into all the little nooks and crannies. Get it absolutely in everywhere that you can. And yeah, and then once dry we can start thinking about lightening some lighter shades of like yellows and creams to make it really pop.
Pop. Pop, 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 pop.
And now I'm going to go in with a tiny bit of red from Model Air, and I'm going to go ahead and mix it with that basic flesh so we can go ahead and paint our lips. For the next part I'm going to go in with a off-white from Game Colour, and I'm going to go ahead and paint this part because it's a little bit aged when it comes to the reference photos. So for the next part I'm going to go in with a glorious gold from Game Colour, and I'm going to go ahead and start adding some of the details to the right wing. So for the next part I'm going to go in with some glorious gold from Game Colour, and I'm going to start mapping out some base coat colours, or base coat gold, for the tiara and the earrings. And seeing as I've still got quite a bit of gold left on the palette, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start adding a general base coat to her top. And now I'm going to go in with a little bit of black from Model Air. And for the next part I'm going to go in with some middle stone from Model Air, and I'm going to make it like a thin wash and then just spread it over and then gently dab away the excess. And I'm going to do the exact same step, but this time with some very watered down black acrylic, just to make it look a little bit more aged.
You only knew the power of the black wash.
Okay, so for the next part I need to start mapping this part out here, because this is actually a browner colour, which I'm going to use middle stone from Model Air, so it's basically that colour for there. Now I've been putting this off for a while, mainly because it needs to go up to a straight edge and come down, but as you can see there, the straight edge kind of just blends in, so it's kind of hard to gauge. And also, for a long time, I thought it was a fault with the 3D artist. So my apologies if you're watching. Basically, it goes like down like that, and as you can see here, this one's higher up. And I thought, oh, that's gonna drive me crazy that it's not even all the way around. But it wasn't until I was looking at reference photos that I then realised, yes, in the actual original statue that they created for the film, these are actually uneven. This actually does go up, so the 3D artist was in the right to do it because it was in the film. So yeah, so my apologies, Sarah, madam, whoever sculpted it. Yeah, it was the right thing to do, but me personally, I was a bit like weirded out at first. But all's well that ends well, so let's get painting. Okay guys, so after giving this a few coats, now it's worked okay, but it's not striking me as the right colour anymore. It's a little bit too dark, but it will work as a good undercoat. So for the next stage, I'm going to go in with some bone white from Game Colour, and we're going to start laying at least 2 coats. And for the next part, I'm going to go in with some dark flesh from Model Colour, and I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing over her hair just to create some highlights. And next I'm going to go in with a magic blue from Game Colour, and we're going to start painting the eyes.
Perfect.
And now for the next part, we need to make this a little bit darker. So I've gone in with a little bit of a gold copper mix, which I used just regular copper from Model Air mixed with glorious gold from Game Colour. And while the copper was out, I thought I might as well go ahead and match the tiara and the earrings, just so everything matches.
No way!
Yes way!
And then for the next part, I went in with a little top up of off-white from Game Colour, just so we can make those edges a little bit crisper. And while the off-white is still out, I thought I'd go in and mix a little bit of dark flesh into it, just to make a very light blondish colour, just so we can add it as a highlight to the most prominent part of Hera's hair, just so as a nice contrast from dark to light.
Ain't nobody got time for that!
And for the next part, I'm going to go in with a fine liner paint pen, and we're going to do some eyelashes. Okay, so for the next bit, I'm going to go in with some watered down black acrylic paint, and I'm going to go over these like metal brassy bits, because in the reference photos they are kind of darker, old age, kind of bronzed. Okay guys, so for the next bit, and I was and ahhing if I should do this stage or not. So normally when I do fresh colours, I'll go in with a bit of red watercolour and dab away with the excess. Now with this being supposed to be like a wooden statue, I was thinking I wasn't going to do this step, but from the looks of it, it just looks like there's something missing. So I'm just going to do a very light version and then just dab away the excess, and then hopefully that just makes it look a little bit better. Now that is one extreme sunburn. So looking back in hindsight, it probably wasn't the best idea for me to do this at this stage. I think I should have done this before I added the pen marks to the eyes, because they did run a little bit. So was a little bit of clean up involved, but all's well that ends well.
Stop it. Get some help.
And for the next part, I'm going to go in for a very small dry brush of silver from Model Air. So once all that are dried, for the next stage we're going to take it into the spray booth and we're going to hit it with at least 2 coats of a nice matte varnish.
Yeah.
And then I did the exact same with the wings.
15 minutes later.
Okay, so now that the main figure itself is matte varnished and it's more or less complete, the only thing I'm feeling is missing is I think it is just very basic on the bottom. So I looked through my spare base box and I found this. Now this fits 99% perfect. There is a little bit of overlap, but only if you go looking really. But I think once you've added glue, I think, and this will be painted maybe black, I don't know yet, I think it will work a lot better. So yeah, so for the next stage I'm thinking about going ahead and gluing this to the base. Okay, so while we go ahead and leave that glue to fully dry, for the next stage I jumped onto my PC and I designed this Jason the Argonauts nameplate to be printed out on a 3D printer. So now that we have the STL file ready, let's get printing.
Three hours later.
Okay, so here it is all printed off and it turned out really nice. Okay, so after this has been given a nice black base coat, for the next stage I'm going to go in with one of these, which is a gold paint marker. Okay, so now that this has been given a couple of coats of gold, for the next stage I'm going to take it out into the garage and I'm going to give it a nice couple of coats of gloss varnish.
One gloss varnish later.
Okay, so now we can go ahead and we can add the Jason the Argonauts nameplate. And with that, I think it's finished.
I am Hera, Queen of the Gods, and your protector on this voyage. But my Lord Zeus has decreed a limit to the number of times I may help you when you call upon me. Do not speak now. I know what you must ask of me. Does the Golden Fleece exist? And if so, where is it? Search in the land of Colchis. With your wits rather than your courage, and look to his ankles. There is nothing else I can tell you.
Okay guys, so here she is, all finished, and I have to admit I am happy with the finished results. And I've reached out to the client and the client seems like he's really happy as well, so all's well that ends well. So if you've enjoyed this build or you've just enjoyed the video in general, please slap that like button, share on Facebook and X, because it helps new people find the YouTube channel, which I'm always appreciative. Thank you for any help. If you have any comments, comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future builds. And we have got some cool stuff lined up in the future. And the channel's current goal is to get to 3,000 subscribers, and I can only get there with your help, so it is really appreciated if you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be a really awesome viewer, please take 5 minutes, check out my Patreon page, where with your help we can do these videos full time rather than part time, and which means a lot more content for you guys and a lot more work for me. And we've got different tiers on there, everything from just a couple of £1 a month to, I think the highest is £10, and then obviously you get your name added to the end of the video. So yeah, any help would be greatly appreciated. So once again, I'm Francis Gray, thank you for watching, and this is the figurehead of Hera from the classic movie Jason the Argonauts. I'll see you in the next build. If you like the content that I'm making, you'd like to support my work, here is a few links in the description, but only if you can afford it, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.